Здравствуйте, друзья! В эфире радиошоу «Восьмая нота» у микрофона в московской студии. Радио России, ваш вечерний ДД Дмитрий Добрын. Я приветствую все города России, всех слушателей, кто в этот час настроил свои приемники на нашу волну. Сегодня, дорогие друзья, у нас в гостях звезда немецкой метал-сцены Удо Диркшнайдер. Привет, Удо!
Привет!
Но прежде всего, спасибо, что пришел и уделил время слушателям Радио России.
First of all, thank you for finding time for us and for listeners of the Radio Russia.
Oh, no problem.
Да. Тебя часто называют одним из основателей немецкой тяжелой сцены, и в России уже выросло не одно поколение на твоих песнях.
You're a star of the German metal scene, but in Russia, generations of listeners also are raised on your songs.
Yeah, I mean, there we have a big metal scene in Germany, of course, and but Russia, you know, I mean, there are also some bands I know. That, for example, I know Aria, of course. I know what are the Kipelov, and yeah, I mean, and of course about my guitar player Andre. Of course, he tell me some bands, you know, but I'm very bad in reminding in names, you know. But I think they're also a good scene here.
Ну, сегодня мы встретились, потому что недавно ты выпустил новый диск Still Factory. Вот расскажи о нем, чем он интересен с твоей точки зрения, чем отличается от предыдущих работ и вообще от современных метал-альбомов.
Today we met because of your recent premiere, Still Factory. As for you, what is the most interesting about it, and why is it different from your previous albums?
Oh, yeah. Normally I do always an ironic answer, you know, just new songs. No, I mean, the difference is definitely this time on this album we was working as a team, you know. We was going into a rehearsal room, like a little studio, and we was composing face-to-face, you know. Everybody come up with his own ideas, we was jamming, and I think that was a really, really good thing to do. Before we just was doing it over the internet, you know, sending some links and stuff like that. But this time it was face-to-face, and I think that... yeah, it was the right thing for this album, and I think in a way you can hear that.
Вот скоро вы представите новый альбом на концертах, и в России состоятся 15 ваших шоу запланировано. Вот что ты ждешь от этих представлений?
Soon you will present your new album live, and there will be 15 shows in Russia. What do you wait from these shows?
Yeah, what can we expect from this show? I mean, definitely no accept songs anymore. I did this now for 3 years. And yeah, so, I mean, definitely we have enough UDO songs. And at the moment we are working on our set list. At the moment we have 45 songs. It will be a nightmare to make a set list. Of course, we try to do the most known song of UDO. And then definitely we present a lot of songs of the new album.
А вот в прошлый раз ты приезжал в Россию с проектом Диркшнайдер. И вот как публика приняла твое прощание с материалом группы, с которой ты начинала, с группы Accept?
Last time you visited Russia with the project Dиркшнайдер, and how did the listeners find your goodbye to the Accept songs?
Yeah, I mean, this like the whole Dyrkschneider thing, how can I explain this? I mean, it was not planned to do this now nearly for 3 years and nearly 300 shows. It was just planned in the beginning that we are doing just 15 or 20 special songs all over Europe. So, but then the whole thing was exploding, and I mean, yeah, what can I say? In a way, it made me proud, and it was for me interesting to see what the people really want to hear, you know, about the original voice of Accept. So, but now, I think after nearly 3 years, I think it's enough. And also, I mean, I want to, yeah, I say always I want to close the book, you know. I mean, now it's enough for me with Accept in songs. Now we have 16 UDO albums, and now I continue without Accept songs.
Но ведь ты покинул Accept много лет назад, и тем не менее эта группа до сих пор ассоциируется у поклонников, и даже в частности у меня, именно с твоим голосом. Вот в чем успех был Accept с твоим участием?
You've left Accept many years ago, but this band is still associated with your voice, even for Dima. What is the formula of success of the Golden Accept lineup?
Yeah, first I have to mention I never left except they fired me. This is a very important thing. It was very interesting to be fired of our own band. I mean, except I don't know. I mean, it's always hard to explain. You know, when I started with Accept in '68, it's a long time ago, and then it developed. You know, and then I think to explain this, the success of Accept was like. Of course, a unique voice. A voice you can hate or love. That's it. Or also, I mean, I think we was making the right music at the right time. And also, it's important in this business that you are lucky to find the right persons at the right time, management, record companies, and all that stuff. And I think, yeah, we was just the Scorpions and Accept at this time, and that was like Accept was more the softer way, and we was more the harder way, you know. So that was, in a way, the only bands at this time.
А как-то ты сказал, что в музыке ориентируешься на Ронни Джеймса Дио. Почему именно на него?
Once upon a time, you said that in music you looked up to Ronnie James Dio.
Yes.
Why him?
Yeah, I mean, let's say, I don't want to say really close friends, but always when we met each other. I mean, I was 2 times with Ronnie on tour, and also when we was meet us on festivals, we was talking a lot of things. He was in a way the same. He has the same thinking what I have. You know, he was that what we was very close in thinking about the whole music business, and yeah, he was also in a way near what I did. He never warmed up, and I never warm up. He was smoking just before he's going on stage. But okay, I was giving up 15 years ago with smoking. So in a way, I don't know, we have the same thinking about it for the whole business and music.
Да, но ты же не раз с ним встречался. Каким он тебе запомнился?
What was he like? How do you remember him today?
Yeah, for me, it's one of the best singers in heavy metal, you know, all time, definitely. I mean, he has a great voice, and it's a shame that he's not there anymore. And yeah, maybe he's watching us, and so, yeah, I miss him, definitely.
Если возвращаться к истории Accept, один из ваших хитов это Balls to the Wall. Вот расскажи историю создания.
We're going to recall your work with Accept and play the song Balls to the Wall. Could you recall its story? How was it created?
I mean, with Balls to the Wall, what you mean, thing?
We would like to play this song
Yes.
in our program. So, how was it created?
How was it created?
Yes, how was it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was like big Wolf had his riff, and then the rest was just done in the studio. I mean, for a long time we didn't have the verses for Ball to the Wall. The title Ball to the Wall was there. I mean, it's the whole song is about against human rights. And has nothing to do with balls in a way. Yeah, and then for one night, I mean, it's in a way a funny story. So Stefan Kaufmann was in the studio and me, and we were thinking, what can we do with the verses about this song? And I can say, quite drunk, and then we start just singing, and that's what you hear on the album. That's it.
Но если говорить о созидательном процессе, вот как рождается музыка, что обычно служит вдохновением для лирики, и в какой последовательности, что первее появляется?
Tell a little bit more about the way you create songs, like how the music comes, what is the inspiration for the lyrics, and what comes first.
What is the inspiration for lyrics? I mean, it's in a way very easy. I mean, if you're traveling around the world, you see so many things, you know, and then sometimes if I see something interesting, what maybe can be interesting for writing lyrics, I write it down quick. Or, I mean, it's also very easy to sit at home watching the news for 2 or 3 days and you have enough stuff to write lyrics, you know. I mean, I never was a guy to write lyrics about dragons, witches, Middle Age or stuff like that. I was like more social things. And on the new album, for example, there's more like, yeah, talking about a little bit more private stuff.
Число вот твоих самых интересных текстов, на мой взгляд, ну, это лирика песни Metal Machine. Вот откуда появился такой мрачный образ?
in the list of the most interesting lyrics of yours, we would definitely include the songs Metal Machine. Where did that dark image come from?
A dark image?
Yes, of like the main character, or this
No,
this machine.
I think we never have a dark image. No, I mean always. I think we are a little bit. We are more positive stuff, you know. And I'm not really into dark metal stuff. Metal Machine was coming from a lot of stuff from Andre. And on this song, and also we was writing on this album. I was writing the most of the songs together with the bass player Fitti Winold. So I don't want to say that's dark metal. This is something different.
So, like, Metal Machine is a positive song.
Yeah, we are the Metal Machine, you know. So that is more the meaning of it, you know. We are more the Metal Machine, and keep going on like this, but it has nothing to do with anything dark, no.
Тогда можно сказать, что иногда аудитория тебя воспринимает неправильно, включая и журналистов.
So can we say now that public sometimes don't understand you right?
Yeah, sometimes, you know, it's of course it sometimes happens that the people thinking this is a different than what I was writing in a meaning, you know, but it's not that very often.
Хорошо. Ну, давай вернемся к новому альбому. Вот вы над ним работали все участники Удо. Как вы его создавали?
Let's go back to your new album then. You said that it was composed by all the members of the video. So how was it? How you began writing?
Yeah, I mean, we was writing the album between the touring, Dierkschneider touring. So we start writing on the album. It was in 2017 after the first American tour in March, I think. Yeah, and then that was, I said before, we was going into a rehearsal room, little studio of my son. And then everybody came up with his own ideas. And then we was working on these ideas. Sometimes we was just jamming, you know, just and see. And there was somebody always like pushing the button so that you don't forget all the ideas. Yeah, and I think that was the most important thing on this album, you know, to work like face to face.
Разумеется, вот нашим слушателям интересно узнать и о твоем сыне Свене, который теперь работает в группе. Вот как уделяется разделять работу и, наверное, какую-то семейную, личную жизнь.
You've mentioned your son, Sven. Now he is an official member of the UDO. How do you work with him? Is it hard to draw the line between the work and the personal life?
Yeah, with my son, I mean, now he's 3 years in the band, and for him it was also the first time that really he was into composing songs, you know. And the interesting thing, especially with him, was, of course, it's a completely different generation. He is 24 years old and listen to different kind of music, what I don't listen to. And I mean, he came up with some interesting stuff, you know. And I mean, of course, Fitti and I was like, it's like the basic of the normal, I call it always classic metal. Andre came up with a lot of also Russian atmosphere, you know. He was coming up with a lot of melodies, Russian melodies, like what is the one, keeper of my soul is like a lot of Oriental Mongolian stuff in there. So that, you know, the whole mix-up of this, of everybody, that was the very interesting thing on this album, Seal Factory.
Ну, нашим слушателям было бы интересно узнать еще и о гитаристе группы. Он русский, а его зовут Андрей Смирнов. Вот как он вошел в состав Удо?
So we talked about Andrei Smirnov. Could you please remind to our listeners how he became the part of the band?
That is 6 years ago. We was looking for a new guitar player, and he sent us a demo, a really professional one. You know, he was renting a studio and was singing a couple of songs and singing also backing vocals, not the main vocals. And I mean, I was watching this video. I mean, had a lot of different offers from other guitar players. And for me, it was like, I was watching this video just 3 minutes, and I said, "That's the guy," you know. So it's like a stomach feeling, you know. It's like, yeah. And then of course there was like, "Oh, Russian guitar player, how we want to do this," you know. And I said, "I don't care. I want to have this guy." So and yeah, I mean, in a way, everything was very easy. And then he came for an audition. We were just starting the album Steelhammer. And then he came to Germany for normally just for an audition, but he then was playing all the guitars on Steelhammer. So, and yeah, I'm really, really happy to have him. I'm really proud of him, especially what he did on the Steel Factory album. I think he's a fantastic guitar player. So now he's 6 years in the band, and for me, he's a very important member.
Ну, а как ты считаешь, ведь тогда, получается, музыкальный мир очень сильно стал меняться, если раньше мы там еще даже 15-20 лет назад не могли себе предположить, что русские гитаристы будут играть в популярных рок- и метал-бандах Европы или Америки.
How do you think, do you feel like metal scene is changing? Because like 15, 20 years ago, we couldn't imagine a German band with Russian guitarists.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think everything, you know, it's like, okay, 20 years ago, I mean, there was not that open everything, you know, and now I think a lot of things are possible. You can take also a guitar player from China if you want, you know. But it's like now everything is open, and I don't care where somebody is coming from, you know. So and that's a good thing about now the music business. Of course, 25 years ago, definitely not.
Да. Но тебе не сложно ли работать с русским гитаристом? Потому что, может быть, какая-то разница менталитета существует или еще что-то. Какие у тебя ощущения?
Is it hard to work with a Russian musician? Don't you feel like the difference in the set of mind or something?
No, definitely not. I mean, everything. There was never any problems or something like that. And it's also, you know, in like, so Fiti and I were living in Ibiza, in Spain. Now I live a couple of times also in St. Petersburg, you know, I have an apartment. Andre is living now in Ukraine with his wife, you know. So it's like we're in a way international. And so if we start rehearsing, so everybody will be meeting us in Germany. So my son has a studio, and we have a really, really nice rehearsal room. So, and that's a meeting point, you know, and everybody's coming. So, and then you're on tour. I mean, if you have festivals, you fly in. It's very easy. And on tour, you know, you also start in Germany, going into a nightliner at a bus, and that's it. I mean, everything is easy now. I mean, like for example, I fly from Ibiza 2 hours to Germany, and also from St. Petersburg 2 hours to Germany. So this is like, it's not a big problem, you know. That's easy going.
Да, такой вопрос по имиджу. Вот раньше ты часто выступал в камуфляже, в такая милитаризированная какая-то эстетика была, а сегодня этого нет. Почему?
There's a question about image, because earlier you had like a military image with uniform, and now you don't use it. Why?
Yeah, I mean, that was a long time ago, you know, with Accept, I mean, we was looking for to step out of, or stick out of you need something for the stage, you know, that you look different. So the military stuff, I never was calling it really military stuff, you know. We have, it was like looking a little bit, okay, camouflage at this time in the 80s. It was not a fashion. Now it's a fashion. Everybody's wearing that. And of course, that was a little bit like, okay, Germans, blonde hair, blue eyes, camouflage. Nah, that was a little bit strange for some people. But you know, the rest of the band here was also a little bit in military stuff. But they have to I don't know what it's called in English. They had some, but it was from Carnival, you know. It's not like really like something from the war or something. It was really like a joke in a way, you know. So. Yeah, and then, yeah, so I tried many times to go away with all this camouflage stuff, but this is my image, and I don't know, maybe forever. But I don't know, but it's not a big problem. But in the 80s, there was, in some countries, there was like really like, hello, you know, the Nazis are coming back or whatever. And yeah, but now this is no problem at all.
Когда ЭКЦ были очень популярны, это еще времена Советского Союза, да, или прямо в начале 90-х, тогда многие люди воспринимали именно, что ты как бы такой военный человек, и ты поешь даже военные песни, они не знали язык. Когда я служил в армии, мы тебя слушали, ты нас очень поддерживал своим голосом, своими песнями и вообще своим творчеством, именно потому, что ты был в камуфляже.
Earlier, in the end of the Soviet Union and the beginning of Russia, here nobody understood the lyrics, but they looked up to you, this military image, and they thought about you like you are military people. And when Dima was in army, he listened to your songs, and that was very inspiring. He thought that you sing for him, for them.
Ты был негласным таким, как бы поддерживал русских солдат. Ты из Германии поддерживал русских солдат, да?
Yeah, for me, like it was, you know, I mean, 20 years ago, there was the first tour in Russia. I was not really sure to wear this camouflage stuff, you know. It was like, but then nobody was really complaining this, you know. It was like, okay, that's Udo, that's it, you know. So, and there was no complaining at all about military stuff or stuff like that.
Да, но у тебя не было ли нападок даже в той же Германии, потому что Германия стала уже в то время, уже признала нацистское прошлое как это ужасное преступление. Не было ли нападок, что вот ты что-то хочешь такое милитаризированное, военизированное, еще что-то?
Were there any complainings in Germany about that military style?
No. In Germany not. The most problems we had with this, if we would accept when we start with this stuff, that was in France and in Poland, these two countries, and the rest, no, there was never a problem. But this country, that was France and Poland. That was the two countries there. Really was like, what is this, you know? So I don't know.
Потому что у них еще была жива эта память, она до сих пор жива об оккупации нацистской Германии этих стран.
Yeah, because they remembered that occupation.
Yeah, that was from the Second World War, I think, still like, no, the Germans are back. I don't know.
Но парадоксально в том, что в России так к тебе никогда не относились. Хотя мы потеряли больше и получили больше страданий.
So that is the paradox, because here in Russia we had much more victims and we suffered from the same war, but nobody's against.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, in a way, let's say when we get to offer the first time 20 years ago to come to Russia touring, you know, we start in Kazakhstan, Almaty. That was like, okay, Kazakhstan. Maybe nobody knows us. That was like that was unbelievable. And then also start in Russia. I mean, we was going everywhere in Russia also at this time. And I thought, they are sure. And especially also for me, like a German, you know, doing tour in Russia. In the beginning, I was a little bit scared, you know, if they accept this or the, but nobody really was talking about from the Second World War or anything. Everybody was really open-minded. And 20 years ago, there was a lot of soldiers coming to the concerts, you know, also generals and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, we want to listen to this kind of music. I was like, okay. Thank you very much. No, there was never a problem. Never.
Ну, давай поговорим еще о последнем альбоме Still Factory и обратимся к песне One Heart, One Soul. Немножко расскажи о ней.
Going back to Still Factory, we'll also play a song called One Heart, One Soul. Could you tell its story?
Yeah, the story, I mean, the lyrics, I mean, it's about, you know, we are living on a small planet and we are coming more and more people on this planet. And now I see all the problems like also in Germany, what we have with the foreign people, you know, immigrate people, they're coming from Syria, from Africa. We have the same problem I heard just when I did some interviews with Brazil. They have the same problems now from Venezuela. The Americans have problems with Mexican, but I don't know why they have problems, but anyway. But, you know, it's like, for me, it's like, why we need all these borders, you know? I think if we're getting more and more people on this planet, we don't need any borders. We have to live together. It doesn't matter what kind of religion. and political things going on, you know. I mean, it's like we can live together. It doesn't matter, the black, white, yellow, red, or whatever. And for me, you know, let's say that the lyrics came up when I saw a lot of things happened, you know, with all these immigrant people coming, you know. That was like, okay, this, I want to write something about it. So, and that, and also we did a video clip about One Heart, One Soul, and I think the message is coming through, you know. You see a lot of priests, you know, Buddha, the Buddhistic and normal priests. You see a lot of people, black people, every kind of people, old people, a little child, you know. That means, so we're living in one world, and that's the whole meaning of this song.
Насколько тебе важна лирическая составляющая в песне?
How do you think how important is lyrics in the song?
Yeah, let's say, of course, for me the lyrics, I have to say something, you know. It's like also I have some songs on this album, it's like about my own career. So maybe that was coming up to explain this about the songs that I was singing, maybe in my own history. It's like maybe coming up the lyrics when I went about this Dyrkschneider tour, you know, all that, I get a lot of rememberings, blah, blah, blah. But for me, it's important to say something in songs. Okay, if the people get the meaning, it's okay. If not, it's also okay. I don't want to be a teacher, but for me personally, I don't want to write anything about a flying dragon or whatever, you know. That makes no sense for me. And I'm not Bob Dylan or whatever, but I want to say something, you know. And if the people get it, it's okay. If not, it's also okay.
Твоя предыдущая работа — это такой хороший колоритный концертник Never Metal Night. И ты записал его в 2014 году с оркестром военно-морских сил Германии. Вот как пришла в голову такая идея?
Your previous release is a live album, Navy Metal Night.
Yeah.
That was recorded with the orchestra. And where did this idea come from?
Oh, yeah, we was working on Steelhammer, yeah, and they was mixing with a guy. He was a percussion guy in a Navy military orchestra. So, and then one day he had to say, yeah, I have to do a concert with the military stuff in a church. And we said, yeah, okay, we want to watch it, otherwise it's getting boring here. So, and then I was sitting there with Fitty. I mean, I always would like to make an album with classic music, but not with a symphony orchestra, you know, not with violins and all that stuff. That was also too soft. So, and then we was sitting there in the church. I didn't know what I can expect. Maybe some, I don't know what kind of music. It's only a brass, you know, and then they was playing stuff like from Michael Jackson, ABBA, and it was like, wow, the sound was like, that's it. And then we start talking about maybe is that possible. It was not so easy. We have to ask our, how is that called in English, the Ministry for Defense, that it was really going on a high level, and to make it happen, you know. So, and then it was, yeah, then we start, okay, which songs we want to do, start arranging the songs. The whole thing took 1 year before we was finished with everything. So, and then we present the whole thing live. Everybody was really nervous about, we would see how the fans react, and it was fantastic. So everything was good. So here we go, and that was the right sound. It was still metal, you know, heavy, with this with the brass orchestra.
Ну, как работалось с этим оркестром? Какие проблемы пришлось столкнуться? Потому что ведь совершенно разные инструменты, разная музыка, стилистика.
Well, that was the whole different experience, different instruments. How did you work? How did you manage to do this?
With the music, with the instruments from the orchestra.
Yes, with the arrangements, with the orchestra. And
I mean, we had two guys here, of course, they was really into that, to the classic music. And for me, it was also a new experience, you know, to get into that, you know, that you have like a pipe, you have this, and then to get the right feeling. That was also interesting music-wise for me. I said, okay, now the atmosphere has to be be more like this. You need a little bit more like a trumpet here, and that was very interesting. I learned a lot, you know. So everything was good and everything was helpful.
Да, особенно отмечают уже по итогам в записи, ведь выпущена пластинка, композицию Days of Hope and Glory. Можно о ней немного рассказать.
The most interesting part of this, the most notable part, is the song "Days of Hope and Glory."
Days of Hope and Glory, yeah.
Yeah, that was performed with the orchestra.
Yeah. I mean, that was also, I liked that song very much. You know, and it was really like, in a way, it was like it was made for an orchestra. You know, so yeah. I mean, the Days of Hope and Glory is like we're having also the lyric wise, it's like we have hope and glory, you know. That's why it's really bombastic, the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, it worked very well, and so I mean, then we will see. I mean, it looks like at the moment I got information that we keep not with the Navy military orchestra, but at the moment they want to do more shows with us, with the most highest orchestra from the military, and so they want to do a tour with us, make maybe an album with new songs together. Very interesting. That will be very interesting thing, but at the moment they're talking about this, so we will see. Maybe we'll take, but that takes a while. Definitely.
Друзья, это был проект Удо. Напомню, сегодня со мной в студии его лидер Удо Диркшнайдер. Вот мы встретились в преддверии масштабного тура по России, и начался твой визит с автограф-сессии на площадке «Подсолнухи Art and Food». Как вот она прошла? Что тебе понравилось? На что ты обратил внимание?
We met on the threshold of your big tour across Russia, and your visit began with an autograph session. How was it? Did you like it?
You mean yesterday?
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, a lot of people, and also, you know, it's sometimes. Not sometimes. It's good, you know, to get questions from the fans. You know, they sometimes have different questions than like if you have doing a normal interview. You know, they're coming up with some interesting stuff. No, that was good. A lot of people was yeah. I mean, that for me it was also interesting. You know, to get all these questions, and yeah, and then did a signing session, some pictures, and I mean, this is like also a thing what you have to do, you know, to be near to the fans. I always try to be near to the fans.
What question did you remember it most?
The sessions.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I did so many. I mean,
you mentioned interesting questions from the audience.
Yeah, questions. I mean, they're talking about like more sometimes more private stuff, you know, and like or going how is everything going like on tour and stuff like that, you know. So, but that's a little bit different.
Да, но 15 городов, которые предстоят тебе в октябре и в начале ноября, это очень такая масштабная история. Я не помню, чтобы у тебя были такие большие концерты по России. Как вы будете строить программу? Что ждать аудитории от ваших шоу?
So as we had before, you are going to make 15 shows in Russia, which is a very big tour. We don't remember that big tour in Russia.
No, that is one of the longest, yeah.
What will be the program? How will you?
The program, yeah, definitely best of UDO from the older albums. Definitely a lot of songs of the new album, and yeah, we have maybe some surprises, some songs we never played with UDO. I mean, there's also a lot of songs left. So, but we will see when we start in 2 weeks. We start rehearsing for the tour. And at the moment we have 45 songs. That's a little bit too much, but we will see. We have to come down, let's say, for down to 25 songs, and then we will see which songs are working. We want to do also some special stuff in between. So there will be an interesting tour, an interesting program.
Да, но мы с нетерпением ждем твоих выступлений по России. А что ты можешь вообще сказать о поклонниках Удо в России? И отличаются ли они от тех, кто приходит на твои концерты в других странах?
Well, we're looking for your shows, and what could you tell about Russian fans? Are they different from fans from other countries?
fans from other countries.
Like,
But the different.
Yes.
The difference is, let's say, in a way they're all the same. But for me, especially the Russian fans are more. They have more emotions, you know. They show more emotions, and that's the difference, I think, between Russia and the rest of the world.
Ты уже не раз выступал у нас в стране. И как ты относишься вообще к России? Какие у тебя ощущения от нашей страны? Ведь ты работал с местными группами. Все знают у Арии Штиль. Я помню такую группу «Анш». Ты тоже исполнял одну песню для их альбома.
What do you think about Russia in general? Like, you visited our country many times and you performed with our bands.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I was performing just on stage with Aria. I was singing together with Valerie Still, and yeah, it's a fantastic song. I like that song very much. And then, of course, I did another song with a band called Pushkin, right?
Pushkin.
But I did it in English. So, and then, I mean, of course, I did the song Train Ride in Russia, so Poyos Parasi, but it's also just the chorus in Russian. And then I did Placi Soldat. It was completely in Russian, but it was a nightmare for me to do this in the studio singing-wise. But I think the sense was coming, and everybody understand what I was singing. And yeah, I mean, for me, that's very interesting, you know, and I mean, a lot of people thinking I speak Russian. Okay, I understand now a little bit more Russian, you know, I get the sense, but speaking is a little bit difficult for me.
Насколько тебе было трудно учить русские слова и петь по-русски в этих песнях?
And do you remember that first feeling when you began singing in Russian? Was it hard?
Yeah, there's a lot of into that, you know, and this is like for if you sing English and also the German language, that is completely different, you know. It's like that was the hardest thing to do this, you know. The normal words, like it's not so complicated, but with this ending like that's it's not so easy.
По России
Yeah,
идет и идет.
this is easy.
Поезд по России 100 грамм и в полет.
Yeah, that's easy, yeah. But, you know, in the fact like this is a little bit more complicated. But, I mean, you know, in the meanwhile, it's getting better and better. So I've been also sometimes, nearly now 2 or 3 months always like in Russia, living in St. Petersburg. You get more and more used to that, you know. I can read also, know a little more stuff like I did before, and I can go my own to supermarket, also working, you know. Yeah, and now it's getting better and better, you know. It's not like, okay, I need always like help. Yeah, good.
Да, но вот тот же Train Ride in Russia, это реальная история? Откуда появилась вот такая шуточная песня даже?
You've mentioned the song Train Ride in Russia. Like, is it based on real events or it just
Train Ride in Russia? I mean, yeah. I mean, the lyrics on this song is like our first experience what we had on the first tour. You know, we was coming from Kazakhstan. You know, we're sitting on the airport, and our booking agency forgot to make visa stuff. You know, we were sitting there. The people was waiting in the venue. We are coming very late. And then there was also like, there's one thing that was also something for me, like, you know, so, I mean, the Russians always doing the victory over Germany. So, and I was in Nizhny Novgorod, and we was invited by a company, was sitting on a balcony, and down there was the parade of the victory over the Germans. And then they saw me on the balcony. I mean, that was really like I was going more like this, and they were starting like Uda, and that was for me that something, the victory over Germany. I sitting on the balcony as a German, and they start shouting my name, you know. There was something really like, you know, I cannot really explain this. So, and all this little details, Stefan Kaufmann, he was scared about flying. And all that stuff, there's all the things are in there, that there are true things, you know, so that was very easy to write the lyrics about this.
Да, но мне кажется, вот эта твоя любовь, о которой ты говорила, и твое стремление как бы познать русскую культуру, даже непознанную русскую душу, она и подогревается, и поддерживается многими такими вещами. Ты же говорил, что как-то в одном из интервью ты говорил, что твой любимый композитор Чайковский, так ли это на сегодняшний день?
Once you've mentioned that your favorite composer is Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky, yeah.
Is it true?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also like Bach, you know, I like also Mozart, stuff like that. But Tchaikovsky is really like, it's heavy stuff, you know. It's really like, I mean, the most heavy stuff is Wagner, German one. Yeah, that everybody says he was the heavy metal guy of classic, you know, Wagner. It's really heavy stuff. But the interesting thing is of all this, like Tchaikovsky, Mozart, Bach, and all that stuff, you know, they was creating atmospheres with the music, and you can use a lot of things from the classic to create an atmosphere into the songs. And if you know, they know exactly if you're going which kind of notes fitting together, you know, to create an atmosphere like or feeling like this or like this. And that is very interesting. That's why we are, yeah, a lot of metal bands there listen to classic stuff, you know, and to get the atmosphere.
А ты следишь ли за своими коллегами по сцене? Слушаешь ли тяжелую музыку дома, в автомобиле?
Do you follow your colleagues, other musicians? Do you listen heavy metal at home or in the car?
Be honest, no. I mean, of course, I'm always, if something new coming out, let's say Judas Priest album, Ozzy Osbourne, Iron Maiden, I don't know, Metallica, everything. Of course, I'm listening to that. It's interesting what they do, what they're doing, what kind of production they're doing, sound-wise, stuff like that. But if I'm home, let's say I put the radio on. That's it. We have a radio station in Germany. It's called Rock Antenne. You can get it over the internet. So they're playing stuff from the 70s, 80s, 90s, everything, you know. So it's like listening just to normal music. And if I'm home, really, be honest, also I want to relax. I mean, I have all this kind of music around me nearly the whole year. It's like, come down and listen to, well, sometimes I don't listen to music.
Как ты думаешь, почему немецкая тяжелая сцена, она занимает определенную свою нишу и очень популярна в мире, так же как шведская или скандинавская, будем говорить, или английская, американская, немецкая тоже имеет свое такое место?
Why do you think? The German metal scene has like its own place or on the worldwide metal scene?
Yeah, that was not always, you know, but normally it starts from England with all these bands like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. But then I don't know. Now in Germany is the biggest metal scene at the moment in Europe and maybe also in the world. You know, there are so many bands coming out of Germany, and another country also is definitely Finland and Sweden. You know, a lot of bands coming from also have metal bands coming out of this country. And I think these three countries at the moment are the most popular countries for heavy metal now: Germany, Sweden, and Finland. So England is gone. There's nothing. There is no really, let's say, really metal bands coming out of England, you know.
Но немецкую сцену тоже можно разделить, потому что все основные группы, которые стали известными и популярными и чего-то добились, они из Западной Германии, где было американское влияние.
But the German metal scene could be divided too, because most of the popular, famous German bands are from the Western Germany.
Yeah, but Western Germany. Okay, Rammstein is from East Germany. They're coming from Berlin.
This one.
Only one. I know. I didn't know that. Ah, that's interesting. That maybe it's a singer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, from the old bands, what they were popular in East Germany, that was like Pudis and Karat and all these bands.
Они были известны здесь.
Yeah, but they're still existing, and they're doing quite good business in a way. But really popular international. There's always the bands from West Germany, like Halloween, Gamma Ray, Running Wild, Doro. Except, yeah, also one of these bands, yeah. And yeah, so also the Scorpions, of course, and yeah. So I don't know. There is not a real international band was coming out of East Germany. I don't know why.
Как раз Рамштайн разрушили тот стереотип, что можно стать популярным только по-английски петь.
Rammstein, they broke that stereotype that to be popular you should only sing in English.
Yeah, that's interesting. Rammstein is one of the bands that are international-wise everywhere and singing in German, you know. But I think it's I like Rammstein, you know, but it's like the rhythm what they're doing, and definitely it's one of the main things is to show what they're doing, you know. It's a huge show. If you put this away, be honest, really away, everything, I don't know. Nah, I'm not really sure about this, you know. I mean, we had in Germany a band called and that was also a band before Rammstein, and they was making exactly the same music. And a lot of people say Rammstein was stealing the sound of this band, you know. But it's always like, you know, blah, 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 you never know. But this the band is definitely, they was also singing German, and that is the same kind of music, but it was already a long time before Rammstein, you know. So like, maybe Rammstein was like, oh, interesting, but we're making a big thing out of it, you know. So, but I know Rammstein, they was start playing in really small clubs, and of course they was always doing something with fire, you know. And then I don't know, for one thing, yeah, when they had the first, not the first album, that was where the song was Engel. That was like exploding, you know. So, and then, here we go.
А тебя, когда появились Рамштайн, они не шокировали хотя бы своими текстами?
When Rammstein came out, did they shock you, or at least with their lyrics?
No, not really. I mean, there was also a big discussion in Germany if they are going on the right, you know, like Nazi stuff, like blah, blah, blah. But I never found anything like this, you know. Everybody was, what they're talking about. Like, for example, we have in Germany the band called Böse Onkels. They was much more near to the right parties, you know, than Rammstein or...
Да, но они тоже, хоть и сделали собственный звук, очень известны, но они не оригинальные, потому что я помню еще группу Лайбах.
Well, Rammstein are not original, as you said, and Dima recalls the band called Leibach.
Лайбах.
Leibach?
Yeah.
Ah, Leibach. Yeah, but I don't know that much about Leibach.
Life is life.
I don't know that much about this band. I know the name, but I don't know that much music of Leibach.
Да. Но мы говорили сегодня о разных периодах твоего творчества. Вот многие рок-звезды описывают свои рок-истории, потому что они очень интересны в автобиографиях. У тебя не было такой мысли?
Today we talked about different periods of your career, and many rock stars, they describe their stories in autobiographies. And what do you think about it? Are you going to?
I'm working on it. I mean, already for a long time, you know. But I was so busy at the last couple of years, so but I promised myself now. I was starting already now. On the next tour, I have enough time. Then I will start writing about this. But the thing is, you know, I was thinking I cannot do it in once. I have to make the first thing will be only the Accept story. And then the next one will be UDO, you know. So first I have to make a biography about the career with Accept.
Но вот с чего можно было бы написать вот первый шаг в музыке? Ты можешь сейчас вспомнить и рассказать нашим слушателям?
How could you start the autobiography? I mean, what would you call the first step to music career?
The first step in music career for me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that was the first step. What you mean, the whole beginning or the first step to become more famous?
Oh, well, the first step to become a musician.
to first step to become a musician. That was a Christmas gift of my parents. I get a keyboard, and I was started with my oldest friend Michael Wagener. He's now, I mean, a really famous producer. So we both start making music at home, you know. So and then, then I found out I was not good enough on keyboards. I was more into singing. Then we had a school band and all that stuff, like step by step by step. But when I start with 14 to start playing on the keyboard, I didn't expect that I don't know, nearly 50 years later, still in this business and become, I can make a living of this, you know. So it was like step by step, and that was sometimes what I'm talking about with young bands, you know. They don't have this, you know, directly start, and they don't have all these steps. Okay, it's a different story also in the business. It's not possible anymore, you know. With records, they don't have enough money anymore to continue with the band for a couple of years. I can that when we had the first album with Accept, that was like the record companies, okay, after 5 albums we have to make some money after 5 albums. At these days, I don't know any record company to say, okay, we have to make some money after 5 albums and we support you, you know. No, definitely not. I mean, the business is now completely different.
Как ты считаешь, ну вот Accept, очень заслуженная группа, Удо, у вас определенный есть стиль, они, конечно, похожи, да? Но вот сегодня молодые, Industrial, New Metal, различные Post-Metal и так далее, другие направления, в которые ты сказал, что ты не очень как бы хочешь погружаться. Часть переведи, пожалуйста.
Заверши.
И что ты думаешь о них? Нет ли там какого-то такого неправильного пути, с твоей точки зрения? Это не настоящий уже heavy metal, а какие-то синтезы.
What do you think about a modern, post-metal, like modern
I don't know.
metal
There are
bands?
a lot of parts, different kind of metal, death metal, speed metal, thrash metal, gothic metal. I don't know that too.
Don't you think they like chosen the wrong path?
You know, I mean, for me it was like always like the thing heavy metal was coming up. I don't know, in the 80s somewhere. I don't know who was coming up with this called heavy metal. So I mean, AC/DC is not heavy metal. They call it also heavy metal, you know. And for me, in a way, I would say we are more a hard rock band, you know. It's not heavy metal. Heavy metal for me was for me Black Sabbath in a way. That was really, you can call that heavy metal when they came, you know. That's really like Iron Man and all that stuff. It was really like whoa. But all this kind of music, what we are doing at the moment also, now we call it classic metal. You know, the classic true metal stuff. And for me, it's like more, I'm still would say we're doing hard rock. But I always say it a little bit more easier, you know. The most important thing is write songs that the people can remember. You know, for me it's now interesting also to see when I did Dierkschneider, you know, and was playing, let's say, for example, I'm a Rebel, is from 79, and you see young people standing in front in the audience and they're singing a song of 79. They was not born at this time, you know. And that means for me it's the most important thing to write songs that the people can remember maybe in 30 years, you know, like Smoke on the Water, or I don't know. There's so many examples. And that's for me the most important thing. And how you want to call this music, I don't know.
Нет ли ощущения, что сегодня металл, он становится менее популярным, чем раньше?
Don't you feel like nowadays metal music is not that popular anymore?
Oh, it's very popular. I mean, especially in Europe, it's a big thing, you know. I mean, if you see all the big festivals, like Wacken, for example, it's or like Summer Breeze is the next biggest one in Germany. It's like this is still popular, and we have so many tours going on, and really it works, you know. And this kind of music is really popular at the moment. Also now we're getting in Germany, after a long time, radio stations they play this kind of music, you know. It was for a long time you didn't hear any stuff like that. You maybe the Scorpions will still loving you or whatever, but that's not heavy metal or hard rock or whatever. But really rock stuff. But now it's become more and more and more. So I mean, I have at the moment also a TV show in Germany. It's called Rock Kitchen. So it's a platform for. So we have a cook. He's cooking with the band. They're coming up with some recipe, you know, blah blah blah. And I do then, the host and talking to with the bands. I'm getting some different interview. I want to have more things from behind, you know. I mean, they cannot lie to me. I know the business. So what's going on? And this is now the first platform in Germany on TV that the bands can present themselves, touring, new album, you know, they can talking about what's going on. And it works very well. So we will see. For me, it's hopefully I can organize the both thing, you know, being on tour and also do some pre-shows, record pre-shows on TV, you know. But it's a lot of fun to do this, you know. I was not really in the beginning when they said, oh, maybe you can do that. So, on TV, you know, doing interviews and stuff like that. No, but it works very good.
Но ведь у вас, да, но ведь у вас все-таки саунд из 80-х годов у группы Удо, но на вас приходит очень много юного поколения. В чем секрет?
Well, your sound comes from the 80s, but nowadays a lot of young people come to your concerts. Why?
Yeah.
What is the
I
secret?
mean, that's the thing. This kind of music, let's say we have classic true metal, whatever it is, the people there's a new generation for this kind of music is coming up, you know, and that's very interesting to see. I saw that the last a couple 5 years are coming more and more young people, you know. And so, of course, now also, but more in the back, the older people, you know, it's like the three generations are coming to the concert. That's very interesting to see.
Ну, я надеюсь, что они придут, это юное поколение, на те 15 концертов, которые тебе предстоят в России.
Well, I hope that all the generations will visit your 15 concerts in Russia.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this kind of music will be last forever. That's what I think.
Да, у нас время постепенно завершается. Последний вопрос, наверное. Вот ты когда-нибудь думал, что бы делал, если бы твоя музыкальная карьера не сложилась? Я слышал, что в детстве ты мечтал стать поваром.
Well, our interview is coming to the end. And have you ever thought about a job you could take instead of being a musician? Because, well, we've heard that you wanted to be a chef when you was a child.
What again?
We've heard that when you was a child, you wanted to be a chef, like cooking.
Cooking, yeah. That was like you know. I always, when I was also young, I was always I like to travel. I was already when I was 15 in London, Paris, and I don't know. And that was for me thinking, okay, I want to be a cook on a ship. So, but now as a musician, I'm also traveling around the world, but that's much better.
Ну, я рад, что все-таки ты решил посвятить себя музыке, и теперь выступаешь для нас, и я желаю тебе удачи на грядущих концертах.
Well, we're glad that in the end you've chosen to be a musician, and now you can perform for us. We wish you good luck in your future concerts.
Yes, so, I mean, we see us then on the tour in Russia then, I think.
Наш сегодняшний эфир завершит еще одна композиция с нового альбома Still Factory. Она называется In the Heat of the Night. Она прозвучит на будущем шоу.
To conclude, we will play the song called In the Heat of the Night. Tell a little bit about it. Will you play it live?
I think that will be one of the songs, yeah, that we're playing live. I think it's a good live song. But I hope that the people like it.
Yes. Спасибо тебе за это интервью. На этом я, Дмитрий Добрын, а также Удо Диркшнайдер. Прощаемся с вами. Все, друзья, самого доброго и слушайте рок.
Thank you for the interview. It's time to say goodbye to the listeners.
Okay, but that's